New hair, who this? Hi. Hey. Hi. It's me, your Void. And I'm really not sure if I want to read the books that I want to read in May. So I'm gonna be honest, I planned this TBR so specifically. I spent so much time on planning this TBR, and for the past week or so I've been staring at it, filled with doubt. And I don't know if I want to read all of these books. I don't know if I want to read a single one of these books. So I'm going to make this video, and I'm probably not going to read a single book that I mentioned today. We will see. So my plan was to participate in the Goober Readathon, hosted by three lovely people: Jessie Corinne, aka Jess, Bibliophile by Night, aka Monica, and Rachel Bujos, aka Rachel. They have a book club. I've never participated in a book club, and they decided to make a readathon this year. So far, so easy, right? They made a bingo board. It's a 5x5 square thing. And you get different points for differently colored squares, and when you get a bingo you get points, and if you read in certain genres you get points, and if you read specific books you get certain points. So on the surface it's a very easy readathon. On the other hand, my competitive ass makes it unnecessarily complicated. So here we are, 4 pages of science later. Like, legit, I spend so much time on this bullshit for no reason. For no reason. Maybe that is the origin story of why I don't like this TBR. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. So we will go through this bitch, and maybe I can sweet talk my way into reading one of these books. Maybe not. Who knows? This may be a month where I just go for the mood read and just say fuck off to everything. So all my rigorous planning gave me a couple of options to go with it. There is no way for me to get a full bingo board. There are 2 prompts that I just cannot fulfill. I have looked far and wide for one of these prompts and I didn't find anything that could fit it. And the other one I just don't want to fulfill. So here we are. But I had a couple of options for multiple bingos, and they all ended up being terrifyingly huge stacks of books. The stack I went with is still terrifyingly large, but if I get through all of it, it will give me 3 different bingos, each with a good amount of points to it. This is the most efficient way I can do this, and I hate it. So I went with a little star design. So we go from top left to bottom right, from top right to bottom left, and we go from the middle left to the middle right in this bingo setup thing. I will get the most points, 13 of those, from the middle thing that is just straight across. Hold for tractor. So I will get the most points from the straight across line thing. So that is the one I will focus on first if I end up reading for this readathon. And then we will do the cross sections. I make this sound so complicated. And since I'm focusing on the middle one, stripe thing first, that is where we will start with this TBR. Makes sense, right? Right? So for the straight across one, we have an intimidating read, a cover pick, a book that I have to read, a book that is out of my comfort zone, and an author from another country. For the intimidating read, I picked Harrow the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. Muir? I have no idea how to say her last name, and it's bugging me. I picked Gideon the Ninth. No, Harrow the Ninth. This is an intimidating read, A, because she is thickums. This is a 700-page behemoth of a book. B, it is a very scientific sci-fi. And C, if this is anything like the first book, the cast of characters is going to be ginormous, and they are all going to have 3 different names that are used interchangeably, tripling the cast, essentially. This book is not ADHD friendly. That is why it is intimidating. I loved the first book. It was complicated as fuck. fuck? But I loved it. But again, given the very, very big cast and the not too little count of pages in here, this book scares me. Thankfully, I have the audiobook for this, so I can listen along while I read, which will hopefully help me to get through this beast and make it less intimidating. I'm still scared of her. In this book, we follow Harrow after the events of Gideon the Ninth, which is the first book in the Locked Tomb. I think it's a trilogy, I don't know. And she's a necromancer in space, and she has been through some shit in book 1, and some things were uncovered by the end of book 1, which are basically the foundation of the plot in book 2, so I can't really say a lot about it. What I can say is we have another murder mystery in here. That's all I know about it. It's a murder mystery with space necromancers. Yay. For the cover pick, I cheated a little because there are a couple of covers that I think are really pretty, but I wanted to go with something short because this TBR is already big enough to break multiple of my bones. So I went with Sinner by Simone, which is also a second book in a series, although this is more like a standalone series. You know, it's one of those romances where every book follows a different couple. And in this one, this being the second book after Priest. First one was a priest and a lady friend doing things that may or may not involve the altar. And in Sinner we have his brother, I believe, and a nun, or a woman who wants to become a nun, and they get up to shenanigans. It's a smutty romance. I liked Priest, so I hope I will like Sinner. It's a pretty cover, but I have to say I'm not a fan of the international edition, simply because I was not able to get the other edition with the naked man on the cover. Half-naked man. So my edition of Priest does not match my edition of Sinner in height, in width, and in cover design. Thanks. I hate it. It's still a pretty cover though. So I like the way the orange of the flowers pops. I like it. For the prompt to read a book, I picked a book that doesn't necessarily make sense for me and my reading taste, which is due to the fact that A, I want to expand my reading horizon, you know, genres and blah, and B, I just wanted something short. This is the last prompt I picked because it is in the middle, so I have to read it no matter what, but I also can read whatever the fuck I want for it, as long as it is book shaped. So I wanted something extremely short and something that even if it doesn't grab my attention 100%, I can speed read through it to get the prompt. I'm playing a game here. So I went with this little thing. I found it in a small library shelf thing in the local grocery store. So this didn't cost me anything, except probably about 3 hours of reading time. So this is Murder in the Place of Anubis by Lynda S. Robinson, and it is a fictionalized version of the life of a pharaoh. I don't know what you would call him in the English language, so I just go with the German one. We call him Tutanchamun, King Tut, that guy. And in this fictionalized version, we follow his falcon, aka his spy master, chief of police kind of thing, and he is investigating a murder that happened in one of the temples at some point. Now the author is apparently a anthropologist with a specialization in archaeology, so one would think she knows what she's doing, but I've also read reviews where it is just bullshit. I don't know, but I don't actually expect this to be historically accurate. I just hope the murder mystery is fun. If the murder mystery is fun, then I can forgive mistakes in the setting, which is something I don't say very often about a historical period that really interests me, because ancient Egypt interests me. I would actually call this my first special interest ever. I was obsessed with ancient Egypt, and I've been recently diving back into this obsession. If I'm not gonna read this now, I'm never gonna read it. If I like it, I have book 2 and 3. Yay, it's a book. I'm gonna read it, hopefully. I don't know. Then we have the prompt out of my comfort zone, and I hate this prompt so much because I have yet to read something out of my comfort zone for a readathon that has this prompt that does not piss me off immensely. Every time I had this prompt for a readathon, I was disappointed. I'm very good at picking books for me that I like to read or at least enjoy enough to stick with them to the end. But when I'm not reading in my preferred genres, it is very hard to tell what I like and what I don't like. And so far, I only discovered things that I don't like. Yay me. So this time I go with an ebook called Potions, Poisons, and Peril, and it is a cozy, witchy, mystery thingamathing thing. You know, the genre everyone loves at the moment. I'm still waiting for one to tickle my fancy. I have no idea what this book is about. I would say it is about a mystery involving a witch, and she's good with potions and poisons. I don't know. I don't usually read cozy stuff. Every time I tried my hands at cozy stuff, I was disappointed and bored out of my mind. So here we are. And then we have Author from Another Country. That one was easy to fulfill, but again, I was faced with decision paralysis because most of the authors I have something from are from a different country. I think I only own like 2 or 3 books written by German authors. So yeah, the world is my oyster, as they say, right? With this one, I went with Top Priority by, I forgot the author's name. This is a sports mafia romance, I think? I don't know. I know it's gay. And that is about all I know about it. Happy fun times. Gotta stay hydrated. So that was the fancy ass stripe in the middle. Next we go with one that gives me 1 point less, but has less pages for me to read. So now we go from the bottom left to the top right corner, which has the prompts multiple authors, TBR veteran, again, read a book in the middle, then something that was adapted into a audio-visual format. It says specifically so in the description of the prompt. And another color wheel. I hate color wheels so much. So for my multiple authors, I went with a comic. Comics usually have multiple authors. For this one, I picked Vox Machina Origins Volume 3, which is written by Matt Mercer, Jodie Hauser, Olivia Sampson, JP Massa, Diana Sosa, Ariana Maher, and technically all of the other people involved in Critical Role, given that they are responsible for the characters in here, right? Right. There's not much to say about this. It's the 3rd volume depicting the pre-stream story about Vox Machina and how they became the heroes of the realms that they were once the stream started. Yay! Then we have a TBR veteran, and for that I dodged Terry Goodkind and Brandon Sanderson again because no, this TBR is already making me miserable. No need to add to my pain and suffering, right? So I went with 7 Blades in Black by Sam Sykes. I don't know why they made the cover screaming yellow, but here we are. This has been on my shelf for quite a while. Usually everything that is on my TBR for longer than 2 years counts as a veteran for me, so I don't actually know which one of the books on my shelves is the longest unread, but this one's up there. I had this for a while now. I don't know if you can see it, but the pages have yellowed a bit. I don't know why, actually, because the books right next to it are fine. They are actually from the same publisher and printed in same-ish years, and they have been together in the same corner for a while, and there's no additional sunlight and stuff. I don't know why, but these pages decided to yellow early. In this book, we follow a vagabond, I guess? I don't know. It's not really explained what she is. Her name is Cell. She has what is it? A talking sword or a talking gun? Okay, yes, her sword is named Jeff, her pistol is magical, and she wants to kill 7 people because they attempted to kill her, and they stole her magic. Oh my god, why is the print so small? Why are you doing this to me? I have this as an audiobook, thankfully, because I hate microscopic font. It should be illegal. So again, another chonker, but with the help of an audiobook, it should be over soon. I make it sound like I raced through the books just to get it over. I do want to experience the stories in these books, and I usually end up liking them because again, if it's fantasy, I know what I like. I know what I want to read. Also, a sword named Jeff, a magic pistol, fuck yeah. For adapted, I went around the corner again. I actually don't have a book that is or has been adapted into movie or TV format. Not unread, I mean a Grisha trilogy, but I have a couple of books that are in the works right now, but I don't know if they count, and I also don't want to read them because I have Spy Family Volume 1 and there's an anime out of that, and that is an audiovisual format, so that counts. I'm reading Spy Family for the read something that was adapted prompt because mangas are speedy. In this one, we follow a assassin spy who has to come up with a fake family to do one of his jobs, and apparently things go haywire because his adopted daughter can read minds. I heard it's funny. I know a bunch of people like it, so I'm trying my hands on it. Then we have the color wheel, so let's spin the wheel. And we got the color red. Seems to be a theme for me. But it's good, because I have a lot of books that have predominantly red on their cover. Almost as if I, myself, have a theme. For this color choice of the wheel, I went with Den of Escape, which is an ebook I picked up for Stuff Your Kindle, so I have no idea what exactly it is about. I think the Den of Escape is actually like a nightclub thingamathing thing, and it's a smutty romance, and I think it's a throuple by the end of it. But again, I have no idea. I Stuff Your Kindle Day is a blur. I just click most of the time. I have zero impulse control, and it shows. But yeah, red on the cover, right? Right, cool. Next. Now, the prompt in the middle has been filled by the Harrow book, so I don't have to reiterate that again. That is in there because we don't double up on prompts to get more points. One book per prompt, one prompt per point. It's a whole thing. I leave the announcement video in the description down below so you can get your head around the mess on your own. I'm not your teacher. I'm not here to explain it to you. Cool. Nice. Moving on. First up, we have a reread. For this, I picked Spectrum by Ethan Cross. I love Ethan Cross. He writes thrillers that are packed with action, and especially in the German editions, he has very subtle and yet very compelling covers, as in they are a singular color and the title is just slightly raised. It's not printed on, it's embossed basically. It's a very pretty cover, and I fell in love with his books. The way he writes action is just very... And also we follow a deranged serial killer who helps and maybe hinders law enforcement in a way or two, and we all know I'm a sucker for a good serial killer, right? But my first ever encounter with Ethan Cross was actually Spectrum. This one is not part of one of his series. I'm pretty sure he tried to make it part of a series, because if you read the Shepherd series and now the Ackerman and Shirazi series, there are some name drops that make sense, but somehow this never went anywhere, which is sad. I specifically want to reread this because in this one we follow August, who has autism. August is on the autism spectrum. August is on the autism spectrum. That is a funny sentence to say. August is on the autism spectrum, and he works for the FBI because he has a special interest in criminal psychology, and he's very good at it. We have a little good doctor situation going on here with not just having a special interest into a subject matter, but also being somewhat of a savant in the whole subject matter, and he is helping a FBI agent to break up a hostage situation in a bank that has been robbed. And there is a bit more to it, but I don't want to spoil the whole book. Now, I want to reread this specifically because since I read this book for the first time, and now I had one or two discoveries about myself, namely that I'm probably also on the spectrum. Hold for ambulance. So I want to reread this and actually like have a closer look at the whole autism thing and see if we truly have a good doctor misrepresentation in here or if this is actually good representation. Also, I like Ethan Cross and it's been a while since I read this book. Then we have a 3-word title, and for this one I went a bit deeper than for the other prompts because, as you may remember from the beginning of this video, I said we get bonus points if we read certain books. These certain books are the favorites of the Readathon / book club hosts. One of these books is actually on my like extended TBR, and it has a 3-word title, One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Now, because of the theming of this whole thing, I always expected to read this closer to fall, but I don't mind. This one is one of those hyped TikTok books, like everyone and their mom was raving about how good this is, so I kind of fell into the hole and got it for myself. We follow Elspeth, and she is cursed in some form of way, and there is a monster / a living nightmare living in her head, and that's giving her magic powers, but it's also putting her at risk to be killed because she has this infection of magic. I don't quite got that part, and apparently the magic is based on like cards, and everyone has cards, and she needs to collect them all to rid herself of this curse. It sounds complicated, but honestly, I'm here for weird world building shenanigans and also dark magic stuff. For this one, I get double points because it is a favorite of one of the hosts. So I had to get it in somewhere, right? For 300 or less pages, I went as low as I could get, and I picked up Gambit, which is a 57-page novella or an extended prologue to another book, the title of which I have forgotten. I am so professional again today. But yeah, it's a 57-page novelette, short story about something. I think it involves chess? I don't know. I really don't know. Again, this is one of the books I picked up for Stuff Your Kindle Day, so I presume there is some romance or hint at a future romance in there, but I don't know. I legitimately don't know. I legitimately only picked this because I needed to fulfill a prompt and I wanted to get as low as I could get, and 57 pages is the shortest book I have at the moment. And then we have the total opposite of the last prompt, which is 500 pages or more, and for that I try to make my way through The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson, which is the 3rd book in the Remnant Chronicles and also the final book in the Remnant Chronicles. I read book 1, Kiss of Deception. I liked it. It was exactly what it promised itself to be. I read book 2, which again, I liked it. It was also exactly what the book promised to be. So now I hope book 3 will also be exactly what it's promising me to be, which is a love triangle between 2 guys, a prince, an assassin, and a woman, a princess who doesn't want a princess anymore. I'm pretty sure this picks up right where book 2 left off, given the manner in which book 2 left off, and because of that I can't tell you anything about the plot in here. I guess we lead some sort of revolution, because we had some discoveries about ourselves and the world and history and religion that may or may not come to a boiling point in this one. Again, look at her floppy greatness. I love all of this, and she is almost 700 pages long. I told you this TBR is thickums. If I finish this, I will have read a whole series, not just in the same year that I started it, but I will have read a trilogy in 4 months. That has to be a new record for me. So yeah, exciting. And that's it. that is my way too big, probably completely invalid TBR for me. The math says that this whole thing is not only 13 books, but it is also 4,508 pages long. I struggle to get to the 3,000 pages in a month. This is legitimately the most ambitious TBR I ever had in my life. Probably another reason why I don't think I will read any of this. I mean, look at this bitch. She's heavy as fuck. She barely fits into the frame. Like, oh my god, I cannot hold this with one arm. Again, take everything I said in this video with a grain of salt, because there is a high probability that I will not touch a single one of these books. Okay, yeah. I'm very interested to see my own wrap up for May. But yeah, that's it. Bye. Shit. Sit.